How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffled Rowlet, and today, guys, I thought I'd count down the top 5 strongest starter Pokemon. Now, before we get started, guys, there's a lot of things I want to explain, and the first thing would be that this is based on our own opinions and really objectively here. This list was also compiled thanks to Luca, who's a competitive battler on our Discord. He helped us put this list together, and of course, we did some extra research into seeing what would work on these Pokemon. So please be aware of those things before you get into this video. So, of course, it's based on our opinions and just an objective view. If you do not appreciate that, let us know your own lists in the comment section down below. Now, joining me today for this video is going to be Arctoise, which is another YouTuber which you should definitely check out. Say hi to the people.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Jack from arctoise, and I will be joining Ruffled Rowlet on today's top 5.
Okay, so now let's get right into the number 5 spot. Number 5. Now, coming in at the 5th spot is going to be Swampert. Now, Swampert comes in at the 5th spot because of its amazing dual typing of water and ground typing, which makes it only weak against grass types. This is very useful when used both in competitively and playing through the home region of Hoenn, where Swampert resides. Now, Swampert evolves from Mudkip and Marshtomp, which both are fairly easy, a fairly easy and great pair of Pokemon you can just essentially use, which have a fairly easy time getting through the first few gyms in the Hoenn region. When Mudkip evolves into Marshtomp, it essentially is all you ever need, as the first 2 gyms go without any issue, any hitch. It's so easy to take them on, it's really whatever, and the 3rd gym, being electric, doesn't even matter thanks to its ground typing. Overall, Swampert is definitely one of the strongest Pokemon you will find, and it's really viable in many different ways. Now, what I think is really great about Swampert is kind of that it has also its Mega Evolution, which you can also use, but it depends on what way you want to use it competitively speaking. You could easily run it as a Mega Evolution, or you can run it with just its normal form, without being in a Mega Evolved state, and you can run things like Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Scald, or either Roar, Toxic, and Protect, which are great moves to use on it. Overall, I think it's a great Pokemon, well used to set up, and it's also very useful if you're just playing through Pokemon. And not to speak about just, the competitive aspects of it, it's a beautiful looking Pokemon, it's awesome, it's great, its Mega Evolution is bulky as hell, it's huge, it shows true strength with its Mega Evolution, and that's why it comes into this spot. Let's go to the next one on the list. Number 4.
Alrighty, guys, coming in at number 4, we're going to be having Primarina on today's top 5. Now, Primarina could have definitely been a higher contender on today's list, but me and Ruffle decided that despite the Pokemon's insane strength, there are definitely stronger starter Pokemon out there that can take the higher spots on today's top 5, so that's why we've placed her at number 4. Now, the reason we have Primarina on this list is because Primarina has an absolutely insane special attack stat. Now, guys, the special attack stat is absolutely through the roof for this Pokemon, which can come in insanely useful in trainer battles. And also, guys, Primarina's stats are genuinely very good as well, which makes her a well-balanced starter Pokemon, on top of her special attack being insanely useful for this Pokemon. And also, guys, Primarina also brings a very wide variety of moves, which makes this Pokemon insanely effective against tons of different types, making this Pokemon number 4 on today's list.
Number 3. Now, coming in next is going to be Serperior, a Pokemon that goes from Snivy and Servine to Great Little Pokemon and then into Serperior. Serperior is a Pokemon that ends up being very strong competitively thanks to its ability Contrary, which gives it a boost to its special attack stats when it uses the move Leaf Storm. Thanks to this, it becomes a very strong and viable Pokemon for kind of the competitive scene mainly, but it can also really work well when you're playing through the Gen 5 games. Now, Serperior has, thanks to its ability, also a great setup of moves to use in combo with Leaf Storm, such as Leech Seed, which you can definitely combo well with such moves as Substitute, which goes well alongside that, and then you, of course, using Leaf Storm. It is a great combination. Overall, this Pokemon is great, and it's also very strong, but if you look past that as well, you can kind of see that this is a sort of Pokemon that is just really well made. I love the fact of its design. I know I go well too much into design with these Pokemon, but I think it's a well-designed Pokemon, and it's kind of a really cool-looking serpent design, and overall, it is a great, strong Pokemon that is viable in every possible way, and really strong throughout the game, essentially in, black and white. You can really just use it properly. It's not a weak Pokemon to have. It's maybe not as strong back, when it's Snivy, and, as it evolves, it gets a bit stronger, but with the move Contrary and together with Leaf Storm, it is essentially a powerhouse Pokemon that definitely deserves a spot on this list. But let's go to the next one on this countdown, lads. Number 2.
Alright guys, the Pokemon that's going to be taking the number 2 spot on today's top 5 is going to be Greninja. Now, Greninja is an absolutely amazing glass cannon Pokemon with an absolutely insane speed stat compared to tons of other Pokemon in the Pokemon world. And some of Greninja's moves are insanely powerful that it can actually one-hit KO a lot of Pokemon. Greninja also has access to Protean, which is an insane ability, which is pretty much effective against every opponent, because when you use a move that isn't your type, it makes you that type, so it can make it super effective against other Pokemon. If you're using grass against water and you become a grass type, it can make it insanely effective. Now guys, one of the most effective movesets on Greninja currently is consisting of these 4 moves. So you're going to have Spikes, Hydro Pump, Dark Pulse, and Ice Beam. And guys, apparently this moveset absolutely shatters the Pokemon competitive scene and all battles and everything. But it's also recommended that you're carrying a Life Orb with you if you're going to be using this moveset. And it also recommends that your Greninja is timid. Greninja is definitely a contender for the number 1 spot, but he doesn't quite reach that mark. So let's go straight into number 1.
So very quickly, before we go to the number 1 spot, guys, a honorable mention to Sceptile. Sceptile is a Pokemon that I find to be pretty darn awesome, and it's a very strong Pokemon with really high speed stats. Overall, a great and epic Pokemon, and I thought I'd mention it here because I know a lot of people may get pissed off that it's not on this list, but we decided to have it as an honorable mention, as it is a great Pokemon, especially also when it gains its Mega Evolution. It is very strong, and definitely a Pokemon well deserved to be on this list, so I wanted to just at least give it an honorable mention. Now let's go to the next one, and the number 1 spot on this countdown. Number 1. Now, coming in at the first spot is going to be Blaziken, which takes it home because of its speed boost. Now, just having speed boost on this thing allows it to essentially and eventually outspeed everything, and with its high attack stat, it ends up being one of the most useful assets to a team you could possibly have. The thing that makes it the number 1 has to be the fact that its strength as a Pokemon is immensely strong, and carrying the moves such as Flare Blitz alongside it, as well as Sword Dance to boost it up even more, and moves such as High Jump Kick, which really fits with the theme of, you know, Blaziken and whatnot. It really does end up being a very strong Pokemon. All these moves just work towards making it a powerhouse Pokemon that's not just to be messed around with. This is a Pokemon that is viable and really strong and competitive, but also works really well when playing through, you know, Hoenn. Not as good as Swampert. Like, it ends up being a bit weaker than, you know, Swampert or Mudkip, and just the Mudkip line ends up being, you know, weaker than it because of the fact that it is weak against, you know, a few of the things that it, you know, goes against. It's not strong, or it's just not overall strong against some of the gyms you take on in the Hoenn region, while Swampert is. It does, though, end up being, in general terms, stronger than Swampert when used competitively, just because of that speed boost, which is really useful for it because its speed is just insane, and using stuff, you know, like Flare Blitz with just that hit, the amount of strength you have on it is immense. But that's going to be our number 1 Pokemon on this list, guys. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, drop a like down below. So guys, I do hope you all enjoyed this video. Of course, do drop a like and also comment down below which one of these were your favorite, and also if you think there are any Pokemon that should be contended with the Pokemon on this list for the top 5 spot. Also, please remember to check out Arctoise's channel, which is in the description down below. And remember, guys, this was a list based on an objective view of these Pokemon, and also based on kind of our own opinion. So if your favorite Pokemon is not on here, don't worry. Just list your own Pokemon if you want to, your own list down in the comment section of your own top 5 strongest starter Pokemon you can think of, or not starter Pokemon, but rather just strongest starters. You can just list them all down in the comment section if you guys want to. Go right ahead. And that's about it for today, guys. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace out, have a great day, and bye-bye.